As Conservatives head into this convention, they are a party still coming to grips with defeat on election night last October.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility and mine alone. But know this for certain, when the next time comes, this party will offer Canadians a strong and clear alternative based on our Conservative values.
It'll be up to delegates to figure out what that strong alternative will be and how to translate those Conservative values into policies for the next election. And then there's the issue of style.
They need to rethink about how they interact with Canadians. The model that worked for Stephen Harper, disciplined, doctrinaire, deliberate, is not necessarily the model that's going to work for the next leader and the party.
Delegates will debate a number of policy resolutions, many of them reflecting the new reality of the Trudeau era. One resolution calls on the party to abandon its opposition to physician-assisted death, proposing instead to recognize it as an inalienable right, but calling for uniform rules across the country. Same-sex marriage is also up for debate. There will be a debate on whether or not the party should drop its existing policy, which recognizes marriage only between a man and a woman. Delegates will also have to deal with the Liberal government's plan to legalize marijuana.
The party has to find a way to enter that debate in a constructive, responsible way. What Kelly Leitch is proposing, recriminalization, what the previous Prime Minister proposed, recriminalization, is just not on.
A resolution on pot before the convention proposes making simple possession a ticketable offence, much like a traffic violation. The convention will also take a hard look at how the party runs itself.
I'm looking for a little bloodletting, to be honest with you, from the grassroots, who are quite clearly annoyed at the way this party's been run over certainly the last couple of years, but maybe the last 10 years. And specifically, a lot of control at the center, both by the leader and the party apparatus. There's something like 70 or 80 resolutions, and there must be 50 that speak to some idea of the grassroots wants to take back power.
In fact, several resolutions call for more easily triggered and more frequent leadership reviews. One resolution even calls for term limits on future leaders. The party will also once again revisit the thorny issue of how members elect a new leader. There is a proposal to change the current system, which gives every riding equal weight, to a system where every member's vote will have the same weight. The other big focus at this convention will be on the next leader. 3 candidates have already declared. The first was former Ontario Minister Kelly Leitch. Quebec's Maxime Bernier launched his campaign at a glitzy rally in Quebec. And Ontario MP Michael Chong brought his family to Parliament Hill for his campaign kickoff. Chong has already staked out his position on the environment. He says Conservatives should accept carbon pricing, and the only real issue is what to do with the revenues.
The Liberal Party is using these revenues to spend on new programs. That makes these carbon revenues nothing more than a tax grab. I believe strongly that we should be using these revenues to cut income taxes.
A number of other possible leadership contenders turned up at a recent party fundraiser in Toronto. Among them, former ministers Lisa Raitt, Tony Clement, and Erin O'Toole. Peter MacKay also made an appearance with his young son. Issues like marijuana are already highlighting some of the interesting differences between potential contenders.
I'm for the decriminalization for sure. For the legalization, I just want to wait and read the bill.
Trudeau is saying he bases it on the notion that it's going to be better for kids. That's absolutely egregious. I will fight him every step of the way on whatever he wants to do on that basis alone.
As for the leadership race and who's joined so far, some party observers say there's a reason some of the big names are hesitant about running.
Why haven't they put their name forward? In part, it probably is because they believe that the Liberals have another electoral victory in them and they don't want to come forward now. So does that change the way you look at how you select the current leader and what you ought to think about? Do you think about an 8-year build, and is it with this person? All of those factors need to be considered.
All in all, there'll be lots to watch at this convention: how the party runs its affairs, what policies it wants to put in the window, and the first serious stirrings of a year-long leadership race.